let's segue into the stuff we can't explain because. Again, we are touching on it, but we're not kind of going into it, right? And I love that. I can stay on the other topics as long as we want. I mean, I love it.
Do you know what? I've got the first one. Yeah.
You want to go? You want to go?
I'm gonna go. The first one is
okay. No.
How in this entire world is me and Tony sitting on the couch.
Stuff we can't explain. Stuff we can't explain.
Come on, man.
Okay. So this is it. So we decided to do a podcast called Stuff We Can't Explain, right? And I'm just going to explain, not the stuff we can't explain, I'm going to explain how we got here, right? Because I think that's also quite good as well. We are in a phase of our development. That's what I love about the promises. That promise, you'll be if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, I don't look at it as being a phase in the past tense. I look at it as being a constant phase. I'm constantly developing. I'm still in the phase of my development, and I'm still painstaking. That promise comes true every day. It's not a promise that comes true and that's it. It's today I am painstaking, and today I'm in the same phase of my development because I'm developing. I'm developing spiritually. So we are in a phase of our development where, and again, this is why I wanted to have the podcast with you, because we do have, and I hate saying it, I'll say it, it's difficult to talk to people about this stuff, but it's important. It's a weird thing. It's both important and both difficult to talk about. Difficult in the sense that it is difficult to explain. But the reason why we're sitting here right now is because the reason why we want to have a podcast is we've been having these experiences, right? So we've had a spiritual awakening. By the way, you have to have one. If you've done the steps, after having done the steps, after having done step 12, it says after having had a spiritual awakening, you practice these principles in all your affairs. It presumes a spiritual awakening, right? You don't say you will after having done it. You don't say you will have a spiritual awakening. It says after having had it. So it's a foregone conclusion. If you do the steps in the way it's supposed to be done, you will have a spiritual awakening. The good thing about having a spiritual awakening, which I only realized in the last year or so, is that you get to have spiritual experiences all the time. And I've been coming to you with those experiences. And they can sound very bizarre. They can sound like they don't make sense. They can sound like they don't fit in reality. The laws of physics don't make sense sometimes, and they don't. I'll give you something when we get into examples. I'll give you examples where the laws of physics don't make sense in the moment. Now, why is this happening? Again, I said we had a spiritual awakening, and therefore, once you have a spiritual awakening, your eyes are open spiritually, you can have these spiritual experiences. These experiences, and then you can tell me what you think, these experiences for me is, the awakening is the ability to recognize the experience, right? And this is where we get into the good stuff. These experiences for me are when my higher power, which I choose to call God, in recovery, you get to choose the power that we were talking about, this power that's greater than us, that has restored us to sanity. You get to choose what that power is. Some people choose God, some people choose the group of drunks in the room, some people choose a fellowship, some people choose a doorknob, whatever it is, it's up to you. So long as that power is not you, right? But I've been having God has been speaking to me. Again, so this is where we get into the stuff we can't explain. But God does not talk to me. Oh, Tony, I'm going to give you you're going to have to do my will today and not yours. And I'm going to have, it's not like that. God speaks to me in the form of experiences, spiritual experiences, where, and again, I can't wait to hear how you describe yours, where I cross over into the realm of the spirit. I cross over into a new reality that does not actually fit my current reality. And when I'm crossed over into that realm, my body cannot actually channel that energy. It's almost as if it's too much. And even now, speaking about it, it can be very emotional, because a power greater than you. You cannot contain it. Why are we talking about a power greater than ourselves as if it's something insignificant? It's not. It cannot be contained. It cannot be controlled or channeled. It's greater than you. So when it flows through you, you have to expect some very strange reactions from your body. Me, I get very tearful. I get very emotional. And I get very animated. People say, oh, I love your enthusiasm. No, it's the power flowing through me. This thing that's greater than me, that's finding a way through my body. But my little fragile body cannot contain this thing. And so we wanted to have a podcast. I come to you. We wanted to have a podcast about those experiences. Because why? I can't explain them. But let's have a podcast about something we can't explain. So
brilliant.
So what is So this is why I want to. So what is your? So I've described the realm. I guess I've described the realm of the spirit for me, and I've never asked you this before. Actually, we've had a conversation about this stuff before, but I've never actually asked you. What is your realm of the spirit? Like, what is it? How do you experience it? Not to give an example, just how you experience it when you cross over. What is that like?
When I first was around, okay, and still dominated by ego, okay, because ego is required to function, right? But we talked about getting to that place of having had a spiritual awakening. But the word is awakening. That means I'm not fully awake yet. It's a starting process, right? And then my experience has shown me this, right? That I get a glimpse, and I have an experience within me. And I just feel, okay, what's actually happening, But I can't put it to words. It's like the first one. I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. It's gone. It's gone. It's removed.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is actually
it's removed.
This is the first thing. This is the first. Before we even get into the examples, let's just marinate on this for a bit. Yeah. You and I. We just described our alcoholism. I told you I was a binge drinker. You told me you were a top-up drinker, a daily drinker. And we're sitting here on this couch. Not that we don't want to drink. That's one part of it. But I have not thought about a drink today.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, right. What? I can't escape the fact. I can't lose the fact that in and of itself is something I can't explain.
Do you know something?
I can't explain that.
I'm going to share what I've actually thought about since I woke up this morning. It's like I got fire flowing through me, and when I'm saying fire, it's warm, right? An excitement, a feeling, because we're coming here to do this.
I had that, but
right?
but no, I had a different experience. Yeah. I played tennis this morning. I had a very physical morning, but I also had a very stressful work morning, and generally a lot of stuff going on, stressful work and stuff and other things, and a lot on my mind coming over here. And so I'm only relaxed now because I'm speaking to you and we're speaking about recovery, and this is my happy place, right? But I wasn't like that earlier today. I was a little bit tense, a little bit. But I did not think about a drink, Pax. I did not think. It did not enter into my mind to have a drink.
That's a spiritual experience.
I never want to lose the idea of that impossible thing. Yeah. Because it's what's a miracle? What's a miracle? We talk about, we're all miracles. But what is a miracle? A miracle is something you cannot explain. It is an act or an observance that you cannot pinpoint the reasoning behind it. It is completely, utterly explained. It doesn't fit with any logical narrative. And when we say we are all miracles, you and I, sitting here now, that's what we mean. The fact that I have not thought about a drink today is a miracle because it doesn't make logical sense. I'm an alcoholic. Yeah. my reflex that we just talked about, my spiritual reflex, is to have a drink when my day is not going very well. Not one thought, Pax. Stuff we can't explain.
this is where it all comes in. It's like, as you was just speaking, it's really about going from the head to the heart, no matter which way you look at this. Yeah, but again, it is. I haven't had a thought of a drink today. My life is it's thriving from the inside. Okay, that I actually have no need. And this is why.
That's good. That's good.
See, I've had to have these experiences.
You can't go on. You have to. I want you to stick on that. I want you to stay on this. That's good.
Yeah,
bro, you're coming out with some good stuff,
Yeah.
man. Hold on. Hold on. Your life is thriving from the inside. Do you even know you said that? You don't even know you said that.
No. But it is.
No. What do you mean?
But it is.
My life is thriving from the inside.
That's it.
Oh my God, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's it.
That's exactly what
That's
it
it.
is.
Thriving from the inside.
It's fire.
Yeah.
Right? It's where my heart, my soul lies, And I know. I don't need, I spent a long time, we touched on this right at the start, okay? We're seeking something.
Yeah.
I seeked externals, I built walls and all that kind of stuff, right? But the liveness that actually comes out, and I love this phrase.
Yeah.
I really love this phrase. Gracefully broken. Okay? I had to be broken and smashed to pieces to be rebuilt to a person that I've always have meant to have been. Yeah? I spent a lifetime before I come into the journey of recovery, building these walls and these personas, imaginary fantasy, all those kind of things that are really going on. It's like, but it's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me. Yeah, I'm being somebody of what somebody else wants me to be, or my version, or my idea that I need to be this so I can fit in. Right? But coming into recovery, the gracefully broken is that through the lash of drinking, the pain, the suffering, there's grace at the end of it. And the grace comes in. It's that brokenness actually got me onto a trajectory of going into a new way of life, new way of living, new conceptions, new ideas. But it all started from brokenness, though, and getting to a place of, when we talked about misguided spiritual experience, when I said that, it's like I'm using a false substance to have a spiritual experience. And then I come into recovery, I have a spiritual experience. It's different. It's the real thing, And that fire and how it's immersing out of me, I can't explain that to somebody. It's an experience. Right? It's not logical. All right? It goes beyond intellect. And that experience has they say this, right? It's like, how does a caterpillar goes into the is it metamorphosis?
Yeah,
what's the word for
metamorphosis.
it? Metamorphosis.
That's it.
Right. Okay. Now we use, and then it cracks and breaks open.
So it goes into the cocoon and then it comes out. Yeah.
Right. And then it turns into a beautiful butterfly.
It goes in like a slug thing.
Right.
Cocoons there.
Right. Now, why we're the same?
Yeah.
Just imagine, use that as a metaphor. Yeah. Is that through the journey of addiction, is that with this slimy little, ugly little caterpillar going around. Okay, we go through the transformation process, which is very painful.
Yes.
Okay, that whole kind of destruction and getting it, but going through the metamorphosis, right. And then getting to a place where you have a spiritual experience, that crack open.
And that crack
open is where the light comes. Is the light has come in. But the process is the process. And then we're blossoming. Okay.
So I wanted to say, you just made me think of something. So this is something I also I've been sharing this a lot now as well. It's like that spiritual awakening, that crack that you were speaking about. I used to think that spiritual awakening, in other words, okay, so what I'm saying is my spiritual awakening before was part of the process of detaching myself from all of the variations of self-pity, self-grandiose, self-seeking, all that stuff, selfishness. It finally liberated me, freedom from bondage, and allowed me then to practice the principles I just incorporated into my life, the process, into my daily affairs. And then as a result, I need to now go and spread that message to everybody. All of those other alcoholics out there, I need to go and spread that message. Now my belief is that the spiritual awakening is the acceptance that all of that stuff I did to get to where I am now was never for me. It was actually for you. It was actually for any other alcoholic still suffering out there. Every fiber in my being, you always say we're made of stardust. Every stardust in my being is for that. It is to help another alcoholic to achieve sobriety. That is why I had that experience. But to say that is crazy. But I mean, I'm married. I have a family. I have to. What about what? No. But if I do that, that is, and I have a business. What about all these other things that are important in your life? But if I do that, then I'm actually expressing the highest form of love to my wife and my child and to my family if I'm helping other alcoholics. Because what that does is it gives me the opportunity to do God's work. And if I'm doing God's work, that's when all of the other blessings come. And people say, oh, you're so lucky. I'm not lucky.
Blessed.
I'm doing God's work and I'm blessed, brother. You know what I mean? And so this is my new thing. So yeah,
wait, hold up.
I just wanted to share that.
I remember a time. I remember this, right? I said, I rang you up, or I can't remember if we were in the car. Saying, yeah. I'm off to do God's work, and you were like, what?
Let's talk about that. Yeah. Because this is the dynamic between, and I feel like I love our recovery journey. Like I feel like it's quite dynamic because I consider myself a slow burn. I'm more resistant than you are. I resist. I kind of challenge but not outwardly. Well, yeah, outwardly. Sometimes we have some really sparky conversations. We do. I mean, we can have a whole hour conversation about balance. Yeah. Equilibrium. You hate balance, and I love balance. Yeah. All that stuff. But it's like, yeah, when you say something like I'm doing God's work, my immediate reaction is, what? That's a bit, it's almost like it sounded evangelical, I'm not religious. What do you mean? What are you talking about? That kind of resistance, right? I say it all the time now, by the way. You know what I mean? I say it all the time now. I just said it just now.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about having, and I actually encourage, if you are in recovery, if you are looking to relieve yourself from the lash of alcoholism, to be on that journey with somebody who does push you a little bit. You know what I mean? Like who does kind of forces you to kind of look at certain aspects of your life that you wouldn't normally look at in a different way. And kind of puts you, pushes you outside that comfort box, that little box you set for yourself. God's work, that's too evangelical. That sounds too religious for me. I don't know about that. I don't know. That's the box, right? Mm-hmm. But then there are ways I can look at God doing God's work, God's will, as being extremely beneficial to me. And in fact, I can't imagine going about my day not putting that first and foremost. When I in the morning, when I pray in the morning, I ask God, please show me how to do your will. I want to do your work. I ask him. The same box I created for myself is now smashed. And in the morning, I'm asking God to direct my thinking and my actions to his work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
powerful.
And in doing, yeah, you go.
When I'm saying it also is that whole thing about doing God's work is, and you've inspired me with this. Yeah. Okay, spread love. Just go and spread love. Yeah, Do a kind act.
That's my prayer in the morning.
Right.
How can I spread love today?
Right. Spread love. Okay. See, my conception of what love was before I come into the program was completely different. Okay. I do understand it on a deep level today. You know, it's, am I able to transmit kindness? Am I able to transmit love in a way of, I'm here to help you? Am I able to transmit, say, I'm able to forgive you? I'm able to transmit, I'm able to have tolerance, but still show you a loving hand. Am I going out there in all forms of love, no matter who it is, and saying I try to be the best version of who I really am?
The secret, it's maybe not a secret, but the best possible way to achieve that spiritual center that you're talking about, that spiritual wellness that you're talking about, and I realized this recently actually, I look at love as being like breathing. Okay? So you take in a breath, and you breathe out, and that allows you to live. You cannot decide one day when you wake up in the morning, I'm not breathing today. Today is my day off for breathing. You can't. That's ridiculous, right? Every day, it is essential to your survival on this earth to breathe. You look at love as an alcoholic. I don't know about anybody else, but as an alcoholic, you take in love, you accept it, you allow it to come in, and you give it. You give it as much as you do it in a way that exactly like you're breathing. And you cannot decide when you wake up in the morning, I'm taking a vacation from love. I think today, no love. I'm done with that. And that's like saying to me now, I'm not going to breathe today. Giving love and accepting love is, to me, the equivalent to breathing.
Right. So going into what you're saying there, okay, and it just reminded me of, I got somebody, who was having a rough time, okay? And, people have misconceptions of what God is and all the stuff that goes on, right? And the whole point is, it's a power greater than yourself, whichever one, the conception you choose, yeah? It doesn't matter. Nobody cares, okay? It becomes a personal conception. And it ties in with this love, okay? And this particular individual was having a very, very rough day, yeah? Completely, mind was all over the place. And I simply
You're not talking about me, huh?
No.
Yeah.
I said, walk out your house, go to the nearest tree, and hug the tree. And when you're hugging that tree, whisper these words. I said, I want to thank you for loving me unconditionally. You are a source of my breath that I take on a daily basis. And I thank you.
I can tell you right now, I've created a box around that.
Right?
I've created a box.
Yeah.
But I know you long enough to know that box is going to be smashed at some point. And I will be doing that. Yeah. But I see why you're saying that.
The concept,
I see it.
The concept is unconditional love. That tree,
I see it.
Unconditionally is providing air for everybody.
I see it.
It doesn't matter if it's one or the whole ecosystem. It's like it's being done.
Yeah.
It's a process.
But I'm also not in control of anything. I have no control over this tree, and I have to acknowledge that.
Right. So the tree is unconditionally providing me air to breathe.
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah.
That's a conception of love.
Yeah.
And it's not the tree's not good. Pax. You're a lost cause.
Yeah. No air for you.
You today you don't deserve air.
Yeah. No air for you, Pax.
No.
Yeah.
No. Unconditional.
Yeah.
Unconditional.
Stuff we can't explain.
Right.
So let's talk about the stuff we can't explain. I mean, because we haven't even so we haven't gone there yet, but no, we'll get there. I was always going to get there.
Yeah.
So we've been having it.
You've been saying something, and that God is speaking to you.
Yes,
that is the stuff.
That's the stuff we can't explain. but it's also the stuff around the moments. Okay, so let me give you. I have a few moments. Let me give you one, and then you'll because I think that'll give context as to what we're talking about when we say the stuff we can't explain. So this is a powerful one. So my mom died. It was a year, March 10th this month. She died, and she had dementia, and it was very, very difficult to care for her. I was the main person caring for her, and it took me away from some of my meetings because I was traveling a lot. Because she lived in St. Lucia, I live here. I had to travel a lot to St. Lucia to take care of her. I had a whole army of people looking after her, but I had to micromanage all of these people. Again, that's a gift from recovery to be able to do that. But when she passed. It was then, okay, I need to get back to my regular meetings. And I was kind of like avoiding it. I don't know. It was almost as if I knew, again, that's the cunning, baffling, and powerful aspect of the ego. It's like I knew when I went there, I would get all the love in the world. I get all the love in the world, but my ego is telling me, these people are not going to do it. These people are going to be so annoyed that you've not been around. They're gonna be so annoyed. You just don't go back. Don't go back. Or when that wouldn't be there in my head, it would tell me, do you really want all that love? I mean, really? It's so annoying to have people come up to you and hug you all the time and remind you of your mom's passing. Do you really want that? It was telling me everything it could tell me to not get me back to the meetings. So I eventually went back to a meeting. I asked a friend of mine to bring me to this meeting. For some reason, again, that's asking for help. I couldn't go to the meeting on my own for some reason. So I asked my friend, take me to this meeting. One of my regular meetings. I went back to my regular meeting, and before I even got into the meeting, so this is the meeting in Hampstead. Before I even walk into this meeting, there's another friend of mine, sitting along the pathway, and I go up to him, and I say, and I'm sad, and I haven't seen him in a while, but I hug him because I haven't seen him in a while, and he said, where have you been? I said, well, I haven't been to the meeting because my mom passed, and I've been sad, and I've been isolating, I've been at home, and I haven't been. And he said, well, do you know that my mom also passed away? And we hugged each other, and in that moment, the same thing that always happens. Time slows down. There's a lot of traffic in that area. The traffic is now dull. The sound has been dulled down. The moment is slow. It's like I'm hugging him, but it's not like there's an end to it. It seems almost infinite in that moment, that the hug will never end, actually. And God is speaking to me. So this is why I say God doesn't speak to me, oh, Tony, you'll be fine. It's a moment, and it's through that human. Most times it's through human interaction, and in that moment, it wasn't a voice. It was that I knew what God was saying to me. God was saying to me, "You are not alone." But it wasn't a person saying you're not alone. It was an experience to bring across that message. And when it happens, again, this is where we talk about crossing over to that realm of the spirit. The moment I hugged him, this was me crossing over. Because in that moment, the laws of physical reality do not make sense. Everything slows down. My heart is calm. My breathing is different. The hug, I can feel it. It's not a physical sensation in the sense that I'm hugging a person. It's an energy that's flowing through him and me that's causing me to feel something awesome. That same power that we were talking about. And after that moment, I actually spoke to you, I think, quite soon after that moment. I said, God speaks to me. God spoke to me. And that sounds completely nuts. It sounds nuts. But I cannot deny the moment. The moment it wasn't like a voice was talking to me. I felt because I didn't know the guy's mother, I didn't know his mother also died. I didn't know that. I had no idea I was going to meet him at that meeting. And he was going to tell me what he told me. But in the moment, the timing was perfect. The exchange was perfect, and the energy that was flowing between us was definitely not of this earth. And yeah, what a thing! What an incredible, the fourth dimension. Now you call it the fifth dimension, but what an incredible thing! Why would anyone want to deny? Why would I want to deny myself that? You know, and it set me on a journey to grieving in a way that was more healthy. You know, I was going to more meetings. It set me back on the path.
You know, I found that, you know, as your experience, that you were sharing that experience, and thanks for sharing it, actually, because it lines up with my experiences, right? With, you know, there are no coincidences. I don't see them as coincidences. You know, there are, you know, people enter my life, people go from my life, right? They're all kind of, it's all synced in. It's just like me and you, how we connected. You know,
Yeah.
On a normal day, in normal way of life, if I didn't come into the journey of recovery, me and you would have not crossed paths.
Of course,
End of.
Yeah.
And yet, me and you are sitting here, and we're doing a podcast, and we're having some great fun. Okay, because to me, this is fun.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, we're being real. And when you shared what you were sharing, you cannot make that stuff up.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've had my experiences in recovery. Okay, where, you know, I'm only 7 years sober.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm having a humongous breakdown.
Yeah.
And I call it spiritual breakthrough now because, you know, my current, I call him my spiritual gangster, right?
Yeah.
Right? He's my sponsor.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can call him a sponsor. I call him my spiritual gangster.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I'm telling you what, I got to a place where I was absolutely in this chaos. It seemed like that I was in a tornado.
Yeah.
Okay. And I couldn't make no sense of this.
Yeah.
I'm 7 years sober. What the hell's just happened? What is going on?
Yeah.
And there was a sense of peace on the inside. Okay. And it's like, you know, the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
That's where the peace is and the calm is. But I was all over the place, and I reached out to a few people. Okay. And the answers I got was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, all right, just keep coming back. You know, it's all nonsense. You know, to me, I was absolutely going through hell. It just seemed like, what the hell's going on? I was rocked. And I get a text message come through. Precise moment.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's the exact same thing, right? What you shared, but in different.
Yeah.
The text quote is a quote of the day came through, and it's a text that comes through from a man who lives in near Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You know, and I wrote, Mike, I need help.
Yeah.
It was that moment.
Yeah.
And that man came on the phone instantly. It was instant.
Yeah.
Right? And when I said to him, he goes, hey buddy, what's going on?
Yeah.
I go, Mike, I'm absolutely fucked here.
Yeah.
I don't know what else going on.
Yeah.
He goes, okay. He goes, I know exactly what the issue is, right? You're going, and I'm having an emotional breakdown. My world's collapsing.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I was shaking.
Yeah.
He goes, no, you're going for a spiritual breakthrough. I go, no. I'm having a breakdown.
Yeah.
Right? I go, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I couldn't function.
Yeah.
Okay. And he goes, no, it's a spiritual breakthrough. He goes, don't worry. He goes, I've got you. And then when he said, I got you, I felt calmness with me, that somebody understands what's going on here, and then I'd spoken to him and this and that. He took me to the source problem and, it's spiritual blockages, which I still had within me. But that experience itself was, it was absolutely insane. Right? I cannot put words to, I've gone online and I've searched it, and actually quite a few people have had these experiences as well. Okay. And it's named, The Dark Night of the Soul. It's named, Carl Jung. He's named it as Negredo. Okay. And it's where it's the biggest ego death of
All right.
wow. And I tell you, my world was crashing at that moment. But it's that split moment when that man came in, and he came in at the right moment, at the right time, okay, with the right solution.
Yeah.
And I love him to bits, because it's that moment, and he did. He got me to the source. It was more shadow work, internal work, clear out what's going on inside. And it went on, and I was tearing everywhere. And when you're saying it's like God's, to me, I had a knowing. I had a knowing.
A knowing,
It's not intellect. There was a knowing.
Yeah. Came to know a power greater than yourself.
Right. It's a knowing. And I knew that I just had to sit and, God's got this. Okay. I've just got to, it's got to, and the whole thing was, it was shedding, it was really about shedding layers.
Yeah.
And I used to go to meetings. I couldn't. None of it would touch the sides.
Yeah.
I was tearing up everywhere. It's like randomly.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I'm not afraid to speak about it.
Yeah.
But that's the truth. I was all over the place on an emotional level.
Yeah.
And on a spiritual level, it was like it was like rockets were firing at each other. But come out of that storm, bliss, right? And I'm not talking about, shooting stars and, all that kind of stuff. Peace. Peace. And that showed me it's not external.
Yeah.
But going through that entire experience, right? And that's when I said to you, there was like the eye of the storm and there was peace within. That grew.
Yeah.
It grew. Okay. But that peace, is what I say, is it's like God. Okay. Anytime there's any problems or I'm off kilter, I tap into peace within me.
Yeah.
And it's there if I go there. It's there.
Yeah.
And today, if you ask me, right, my GPS navigation system in life is peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's actually peace. If I'm going and doing something and I'm going against the grain, is this right or this? And it doesn't feel right, that means it's not the right path, and I come back.
Yeah.
I would have not known that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, that is. And it's like when I came into recovery, I came in with a storm. Yeah? Chaos, carnage. There's wreckage behind me. 2 legs amputated. I'm all over the place. I don't know if my head's coming or going. But yet, I've survived all of that. And it goes into that area. All of the stuff, as you said, those things were there for a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
A bigger purpose. And it's to share that message. To help others. So, again.
Yeah.
Coincidence is, I don't believe in coincidence no more, It's like, I used to, it's luck, it's a by chance, and all that kind of,
It's God's word. It's God's will.
And, it's like I've got beautiful people that, have come into my life. And, my little pea-sized ego, and I call it pea-size.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Of selfishness and self-centeredness is it's like this microscopic meat packs in this humongous world,
exactly,
right? Great importance. The pea-sized ego kind of thinks that I'm special in some big grandiose way, and yet if I get rid of the ego, I found the ego is the very thing that blocks me from abundance.
Yeah. Abundance,
Abundance,
yeah.
And it's what my mind does to try and get me into
because the love is in abundance.
Right.
It's always there. It's never it's always there if you want it. And that's the willingness. We talk about willingness in recovery. The willingness to accept new ideas, the willingness to accept a new way of living, the willingness to accept a power greater than yourself and hand it over to, and hand that power, and hand your will and your life over to that power, that willingness we talk about. Yeah, it's completely giving yourself over to that abundance. But why would you not? If there wasn't enough, I can understand the hesitation. But if it's abundance and it's always there, it actually makes sense to hand over all of, you know what I mean? It makes sense to rely on that source totally and utterly. And when I say rely, I mean I rely. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm on life support relying. You know what I mean? But it never fails. It never fails because something in abundance cannot fail. It's abundance means there's too much of it. You know what I mean? There's too much love. You can never not have enough, and so it's just a matter of accepting it. And,
what I've seen is my ego will create fear, and there's lack of control. Because I can't control this. You know, I want to control it. I want things to be the way it needs to be for the way I want it to work out. And you know, if I looked at the story and said if I look at my own journey, yeah. Now, all the troubles, all the chaos, the carnage, the heartbreaks, the breakthroughs, everything.
Yeah.
And I can sit here and say, honestly, I wouldn't change it because it builds the person who I am today. But it's tapping into that abundance, you know. But it was also letting go of the fears that block me from trying to take that next step.
I'll tell you another stuff I can't explain story, because I had two stories, and I wanted to say both. So the other story is I'm sitting. I think I may have told you this. I'm sitting in front of a meeting, a recovery meeting in Hampstead. I am sitting on a bench, and it's a sunny day. It was last autumn. It's very sunny. You know, we're all sitting there on the bench, the sun's shining, and we're all there. And we're laughing. But just to give you an idea of the image of who is there, okay? On my right, there's a guy, he's probably in his 70s. He looks kind of like a poet. You know, he has this kind of like, he has a jacket on. He looks, you know, very, very philosophical looking kind of person. On my left is another older gentleman. He kind of looks like he's like a Buddhist. You know, he's very Zen looking and a very sort of... then there's a younger person. He's in his 30s. He looks very techie. You know, he's a very software guy. Very sort of he looks smart, right? And then there's me, right? A Caribbean guy sitting there, right? You couldn't get a more diverse, random mix of people in the universe, even if you tried. It only happens in recovery. Just four people sitting on a bench who obviously look like they would not know each other, but for something that they share in common, right? Now, the outside world, they don't know what that thing is, right? We know what that thing is, alcoholism, but the outside world does not know what that thing is. They're just seeing these four people on a bench who should not be on a bench together. Now, not only are we on the bench together, the Buddhist-looking guy I told you about, he's kind of like a hippie, like a guy, older gentleman, he's in his 70s. He tells me a joke, and I have a tendency when you tell me a joke. If you're close to me and you're a friend of mine or whatever, I'll put my head on your shoulder and I'll laugh. Right? I'll go like that. It's just a habit I have. I go. It's an affectionate thing. I find the joke so funny that I'm going to put my head on your shoulder and laugh. Like it's just a thing I do, right? So I close my eyes and I have my head on his shoulder. I'm laughing, and then I open my eyes slowly, and I see we're right by the road. I see a woman in a car driving in front of us, and she has the biggest smile on her face. Now, she hasn't heard the joke, okay? That's not what she's smiling at. She's smiling at the image. She's looking at a Caribbean guy with his head on the shoulder of a 70-year-old hippie, with a software guy on the left and a kind of intellectual guy also in his 70s on the right. And she's smiling, going, wow. What are these guys on about? What is happening here? And in that moment, the exact same thing I described when I met my friend in the meeting before, when time slows, The car is moving slowly. The voices behind me have fallen away, and all I can see is this woman looking at me, smiling, right? And she's looking and she's driving. She's not even looking where she's going. She's just crawling along and smiling at me. And in that moment, God said to me, God is saying to me, God said to me, God is saying to me, look at what you have. Look at what you have. And I was like, oh my God. God speaks to me. In that moment, he was speaking to me. I crossed over again into the realm of the spirit, and he's communicating with me, but not in words, in experience. And he's showing me how we look from the outside. How a person who's not affiliated, if that person was in AA, maybe he would not have that reaction, because everybody knows when you're in recovery, everybody in recovery is different. We all, from all different walks of life, it's normal for us. But for an outsider looking in, it must look like an amazing thing to see a group of people so diverse sharing a beautiful moment where one guy's head is on his shoulder and laughing, and we look so happy. And she's smiling back, and so I'm seeing what we look like through her eyes. That's what God's showing me, and God is saying, "Look at what you have. Look at what you have. You're so lucky to have this. Look at what you have," and giving me that appreciation for what I have. And so that's the stuff I can't explain.
Right,
I can't explain that.
When it was that what you just shared, you triggered something for me, right? Where you reminded me of something. And you're going to love this one. You're going to love this one. My God jacket.
The God jacket.
Oh my God. This one is a blinder.
Yeah.
It's a blinder. I don't care what anybody says to me. That's when you're saying this is where God's speaking to me.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me, and bring it into context so others understand, is that I went through a process, and I where I was remembered that as a 10-year-old, I stole a remote control car, from a store, Phoenix. Anyway, I'm going back there 35 years later.
Yeah.
It's, to make an amends, right, of me stealing. And it's part of the clearing of, parts of the damage and harm I've done.
Yeah.
And I went into Phoenix, and I took enough money with me, and I calculated, interest, all the kind of stuff, and it worked out around just under £600. And I said, okay, look, I am willing to just go there and make the amends and clear up. I don't need anything in my conscience. I want to clear it up. And so I went there, and I called the manager, and this lady came along, and I said, I've come to make amends. About 35 years ago, I came into the store and I stole a remote control car from here, and I need, I'm in recovery and I need to make an amends. And the lady goes to me, well, does that help you to get it off your chest? I go, yes, it does, actually. It has helped me, because there was I could feel a freeing little experience going on inside. It's like, okay, I feel all right. But before it, you get the nervousness and, what's going to happen here? That kind of, but it's having faith. And I've done that. And the lady goes, look, we're not going to do nothing about it. Okay. I really, I'm pleased that it's helped you, get something off your chest. So I said, but I go, is there anything that I can do to make the amend? And the amend, it's actually trying to repair as best you can of harms done. And she goes, and I go, is there a charity? Maybe I can put some money in a charity. And it's an actionable kind of way of dealing with it. She goes, no. I go, and then these were her words. She goes, why don't you buy yourself something from the store? So the men's, in my
Yeah,
mind,
yeah,
in
yeah.
that moment,
Yeah.
I didn't think of it, anything of
right.
this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't come into my mind. So I'm going in and I'm on this scooter, going through Phoenix, and I said, well, I've got to make an amend here. Okay, so the lady said the amend is go and buy something from the
Yeah.
store. So boom, 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 I'm scooting around.
Yeah.
I saw this jacket, this beautiful jacket,
yeah.
okay, right? I put it on, it was like a blanket. It was like a blanket,
yeah.
right? You know, and I put it on, I go, yeah, okay, the amends is, all right. It was £570. I went to the counter, paid for it, they gave me the bag, and I was going out the store.
Yeah.
And I got out the store and I said, I just stopped.
Yeah.
It suddenly hit me.
Right.
I go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I've just gone in there to make an amends, and I'm walking out of that store with a £570 Hugo Boss jacket.
Yeah.
You couldn't make that up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I looked up and I said, God's got a sense of humor,
Yeah.
right? God's got a sense of humor, you know, because you can't make that up, right? You know, it's like... Anyway... But when talking about the God jacket itself, right? I've had many guys come over to my place,
To go to
including
bed.
you,
The God jacket. Yeah.
including you.
God jacket.
You know, I can remember you came with this. You know, there was something going on. I can't remember exactly what was going on.
like, put on a
but
God
you
jacket.
came,
Yeah.
and you were going, no, I'm gonna, I'm gonna kill this person.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
remember
Yeah,
the story.
Yeah.
I said stop.
Yeah.
I said stop. I go, wait a minute.
Yeah. Put on God jacket.
Put on my God jacket.
Yeah.
I go, put on my God jacket.
Stuff
You were baffled.
You can't explain it. Stuff you can't
What's going on?
explain. Yeah,
And I got this jacket, and you put it on,
Yeah.
and you go, I feel better now. Oh, I remember it clear as
Stuff
day.
Stuff you can't
You
explain.
cannot make that up.
No.
But the point is, it's like that
Yeah.
is stuff that you cannot make up.
No.
You know? And, you were at my place. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like you've got this, and I explained to you the story of
Yeah,
what it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, you were having a laugh,
That's it.
and the problem disappeared.
Yeah.
There was no
Yeah,
problem.
the God jacket.
But again, you can't. How do you explain that?
Yeah.
But it did happen.
Yeah.
But it's that experience that one has, and you've been speaking about it. You physically see this stuff,
Yeah.
and then you're having a feeling that, and then it's an experience. But you can't put it to words. How do you explain that?
But here's something we were able to put to words, you and I both. And I guess we kind of have to wind down. But I cannot in good conscience have a podcast without the analogy. I can't.
Oh, yeah. We got to do this.
So let's okay. So I'll do the analogy, and then you can end on whatever last things you want to say, and I'll do the. But just to give you, just so everybody understands what the analogy is and how it came about, we were driving to a meeting. It was a summer, and we were going on a road trip. I think it was a long drive, and we were talking about faith and how do we conceptualize it? How do we understand? How do we experience it? Faith, and this is not any type of faith. This is 100% faith, right? This is 100% faith, which is what we are. Which is where we get to in recovery. It's that total reliance, 100% reliance on a power greater than ourselves. And to do that, you have to have faith in that power, and that faith also has to be 100%, right? I don't know how it came about, but we came up with the analogy in the car. And it's a bridge analogy. It involves this bridge. Now that analogy has developed and changed over time. I don't even know if you've heard the recent version of it. I'm going to tell the recent version of it. It's a little bit different,
right?
But it's the same.
Go for it.
But it's gone on all different directions. Anyway, so on the question of faith, we came up with the analogy of a bridge.
Yeah.
And you have to imagine a broken down bridge. Connecting 2 points in a ravine. So I picture it like an old American bridge in the wilderness, and it's like the two sides are made of rope, and it's very shaky and
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, exactly.
Yeah.
And the boards in the bridge are all rotten, and there is no you could either fall through one or one could be stable. You don't know. Every step is a gamble. And I'm standing at the foot of this bridge. I can't go back. If you can picture the wilderness is a place if you deep in it, you can't go back, right? You have to kind of keep going forward to get. So I know I can't go back. I need to get across this bridge, and I'm standing there. It's wobbly, and all these broken boards are there. And I know if I fall through any of those boards, I'm heading down to the ravine below. Instant death. There's no do-overs. I'm standing there, I'm shaking. I'm literally physically shaking because it's not stable, and I'm shaking inside because I'm scared. And I notice a guy. There's a guy on the other end of the bridge. Now, this is where it changes a little bit from the story you heard. That guy, for whatever reason, he's changed into a Jamaican Rasta guy, right? And he's on the other end of the bridge, right? And he's seeing me there, like trying to I want to go, but I can't. I don't know where to go. And he shouts at me. He says, "Oh, yo, hey man, you're there, man. Why are you there, man?" He said in a really thick Jamaican accent. I can't do a Jamaican accent, but in my mind, it's a Jamaican. And he said, "Why are you there, man?" I said, "Man, I'm trying to get across this bridge, and I don't want to step on these boards. They look like they're gonna fall they break the minute I step on them. And I need to go forward. I can't go back into this wilderness. I don't have enough food or water. I'm probably gonna die if I do that. I need to get across." He said, "Oh, man, stop your bomber-clad whining, man. May I tell you how to get across the bridge?" He's very confident, right? And I believe him because he's gotten across. He's telling me this from the other side. So I can see in my own two eyes that he was able to get across. So I have a little bit of faith in the guy, right? In fact, I have a lot of faith in the guy because he's done it. So I said to him, "Oh man, how do I do it? How do I do it? Tell me, I'll do anything. I'm ready to do anything. I'm literally ready to tell me." He said, "No, man, very simple, man. But you have to do exactly what me I tell you. Exactly what me I tell you." I said, "Okay, tell me." He said, "Right. First you do there, you see that step there? Me call it step 1 there. Step on that step there." So I put my foot on the step, and it's solid, and it doesn't move. It's different from the other steps, right? It's solid. I'm like, oh my. So I got... My confidence now is through the roof. That's hope, right? I'm like, oh, okay. This guy knows what he's talking about. It looks like I'm going to get across this bridge, right? Things are looking up. He's all right, man. You're not done yet, man. Yeah, 11 more steps, 12 steps in total, man. Next step there, step on that. Step on the other one. Step 2, also solid. Step 3, also solid. He points me to the 12 individual steps that take me across the bridge. Each one solid and firm, and I don't fall through the cracks. And I get across, and I'm so happy. Like it's like pulling a guy, he's drowning, and you pull him out of the water, right? I'm happy. I'm like, oh my God, thank you, man. He's like, oh man, no problem, man. I said to him, what do I owe you? I said, I have deep pockets. What do I owe you? Send me a check, I'll pay. Man, don't tell me about no bomber-clad money, man. He says to me. He actually gets upset, right? I said, well, what do you want me to do? Oh, man, may I tell you man, exactly what I want you to do. Next man or woman you see crossing this there bridge, may want you to help that man or woman across that bridge. I was like, oh my God, that's all I have to do? Just help the next person across? Wow, that's amazing. So I do it. I help the next person across, and I'm useful. And I realize my faith is in the guy. He's the people that came before me. He's the people that crossed that bridge. I have faith in these people because they've done it. I can see it in my own two eyes. They have 20 years, 25 years, 5 years of sobriety. I can see they've done it. That's my inspiration. My faith is in the bridge. Those 12 boards, those 12 steps that got me across were firm and sturdy. They did not break. They did not let me down. And I got across. My faith is in that, 100%. Then my faith is in myself to help the next person across. I am not a piece of shit. I have something to give. I have love to give. And I can actually help the next person across. So faith, for me, the steps, the guy that helped me across, and my newfound passion to help the next person cross.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I love it, you know. But I do remember when we would work on the metaphor kind of thing. Yeah. And you got that version, and then I've got a different version. Yeah. It's really, but it's that whole point of recovery is not easy.
Yeah.
Fear becomes block. ego, old ideas, delusions, beliefs becomes blocked.
Yeah.
But it's just taking the next step. And and I ended with a few words. Anything that me and Tonkie have talked about. Okay, we're just talking about our experiences.
Yeah.
It's real experiences. It's if something doesn't sit in line with any of you, you don't just disregard it completely. That's not what this is about. This is simply me and Tonkie have decided to kind of sit down and said, you know what, we need to do this. We have so much depth of experience that can be shared, right? And it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be right. But if it can help just one person, then the job is done. The job is done. Yeah. I'll leave it there.
I'm going to end on one last thing as well. I'm going to say, I love you.
I love you, brother.
I love you.
I love you. Beautiful.